Welcome to Talkin' Truck Shit, the ultimate podcast for truck lovers and road warriors. Join Brett Sullivan, Barry Higgins, and Jeremy Allen as they kick it, sharing wild stories and talk with custom truck experts. Whether you like them lifted or lowered, 2 or 4-wheel drive. Buckle up and get ready for a ride filled with fun times and all the truck talk you can handle.
Welcome back. Another pod with talking truck shit, and this week we have this episode we have our guest. He is the proprietor of a great shop over in Indiana by the name of A Plus Rod Kustom. He is also back-to-back Ducker World Champion, Mr. Andy Camp.
Chief Cook and Bottle Washer.
How's it going, guys? How's it going?
And so Andy's joining us this week. He is a sponsor of the Southern Illinois Truck Showdown, and we've been friends for a few years. He's been very cool with the show, supportive of us and the community. And we just want to get with Andy and talk about maybe some history on the shop itself.
I got some road stories. Been there for 17 years. So when we purchased A Plus, the original owner and founder of A Plus, Bill Wilder, had stayed on for 2 years with us. That was the agreement during the purchase agreement, and to kind of just learn how he did things, his history, and give me some ideas of maybe how I want to change some things up. And we spent at the time we were looking at about 23 shows a year from March through October. And I was stuck in a freighter toter home pulling a 40-foot trailer with this old retired guy. And one of the stories was we were on the way back to the 50s in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And in the middle of the night, we're running down the road. He asked me to climb in the back of this toter home to make us a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And he tells me to go light on the jelly. Of course, I didn't pay no attention to the guy. I'm a big boy. I like jelly, so I let it up pretty good. And I reach up there in the front of the cab and hand him a sandwich, and about that time he takes that sandwich and he kind of rolls it on his leg, kind of making a wrap out of it. And no longer than 30 seconds later, we hit this hill. He has to downshift that old Caterpillar motor down to 5th, and when he did, he came out of 7th and went into 5th, and when he hit 5th, he squeezed that sandwich, and jelly went right over the dash. Ran down the dash of that Freightliner. He looked at me. He said, "Now you know why we go light on the jello." Those are one of the road stories I remember. Here I am, 20 years old, learning from this old guy why we don't put too much jelly on our sandwiches in the road truck.
Damn. So A Plus Rod Kustom, it's classic cars, trucks, your hot rods.
Yeah, we started off as
muscle cars and listen, there are a ton of products. We came over for you guys. We had when you guys had your open house, and checked the place. And I was, I was really taken by some of the odds and ends products that were there. And I don't know. I was like I don't know if I was like a kid at the toy store just looking at stuff, but even those magnetic wheels that you guys on the purpose and all that stuff, I was like, oh, it's like Legos or some shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, who wants to drill and tap a frame? Break taps and 4 drill bits. Trying to anchor fuel lines on the side of your frame when you can stick them on with magnets.
So who's that? That's someone that.
That's a product called Mag Daddy, and they're actually made in Illinois. Actually made right here in Illinois, and they do them for industrial, for guys that want to run air lines through their shop and hook magnetically stick it to a beam all the way down to a smaller magnet to either going to run your wiring under your core support. You don't want to have to have a bunch of wire ties or, a bunch of, drilled holes, see from having to a bunch of unnecessary holes in, in your build. But again, with everything, you're always going to have what everybody doesn't want. It's always, the product line has grown so vast in the industry that you'd have to have a warehouse the size of, Lucas Oil Stadium to house it all. But unfortunately, what I've been seeing is mom and pop hot rod shops. Family have operated for 17 years. They're becoming far and few in between. Either the guys are fortunately passed away or they're retiring. The last 3 or 4 years, I go to a show and, I see us and about 2 other pop shops. And outside of that, it's Jegs, Summit, and Speedway.
Yeah. So I want to touch on that a little bit because I know you guys, your shop is 6 days a week that's open for the public. And so, yeah, I get it. In today's day and age, with being able to pick up the phone.
Oh yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning and order something from Summit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a convenience.
Absolutely, it's convenient. But you're not 100% dead ass that you know what you need.
Sure. Right.
I like to be able to pick up the phone because 90% of the time I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to get Andy the phone. I'm going to Jerry on the phone. We're going to talk about what it is and the you guys, your availability and effort that I see you guys put into your business is awesome because I see we go to a ton of shows throughout the year.
Sure.
And you guys are there set up every time.
Oh yeah,
you're supporting the show, you're supporting our show.
Oh yeah.
And supporting the community of people. Whereas you have a lot of these businesses that they're online and they don't give a rip about you. They just want your dollars. So they're not going to support your show, but they're not going to, support the people that are out there and be there.
Sure. What's one thing we started doing when we bought it that the previous they weren't doing was installing what we sell. That right there in the last 17 years has really made us knowledgeable about the product and what we maybe don't like. We get a customer calls in, says he's wanting to say rewire 66 truck. I'm going to recommend our preferred brand. And I kind of explain why. It might be the size of the wiring's bigger. It might be the wiring is easier to be read. It's labeled on the wire. You kind of give them the guidance. Times every week I get an online order and I'll look at this online order and it'll have 4 or 5 parts. And one of them just kind of doesn't make sense, whatever else is going on this order. And I almost guarantee that I call customers that put the online order and go, hey, what are you working on? Something just kind of didn't make sense here. Sometimes it's that's, I've got 2 trucks going on or 2 vehicles going on. Okay, makes sense. But realistically, I have saved ourselves and the customer this process of he ordered something without really understanding it, and now he's got to return it. Nobody wants to have to return a product and wait for the correct one to come.
Right.
So calling the customer and having a 10-minute conversation with them, they're like, "Wow, I can't believe you guys called." Well, yeah, I don't have enough time in a day to deal with 40 returns. When it goes out the door, it can be right the first time. And that saves everybody time, saves everybody money, and you end up with a customer who feels like you spent the time with them. That's one thing I've noticed in our business, that once we capture a new customer, it seems like that customer is always a return customer. And when we call, we're not asking, what's your customer number on the back of your catalog? We don't know you by number. Either know you by your name, which I'm pretty good at, or my dad doesn't know your name, but he knows what kind of car you have. He knows you by the car, And there's a lot of people like that. I don't know the guy's name, but he drives such and such, such and such. But you establish that relationship with the customer. I was told long time ago that these parts will always sell themselves. People will always buy parts. But as much as this industry is about cars, it's actually about people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, this, as much as you want to think it's about cars. It's about the people.
We don't think it's about cars at all. That's why it's called Talking Truck Shit. Follow that with us. But let me on that. You mentioned that because you install the things that you sell, you have that knowledge. So that's kind of a good segue into a piece that you brought. Doesn't like his mic.
Did you see how you handled that? 2 figures.
He probably done that.
You used to hold it with 2 fingers.
So you brought with you a something of your own design. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this thing that I have right here?
Yeah, this right here is a adjustable proportion valve. Used to, you had to take out the old valve and put the new one in, and the new one had a orifice, and that's all it was doing, was just simply restricting it from a 3-gallon to a 2-gallon flow for running just rack and pinion with a GM pump. We've all seen that. This here goes right in the back of the pump, replaces the old valve. It gives you a swivel 90, which also eliminates having to try to get that hard line into the back of the pump, which we all fight. I don't care, car, truck, whatever it is. But then we've also given it a 12-click adjustment on the back side. So just for instance, we were talking earlier on the Suburban here next to us was, he's running a Hydro boost, but he's running a gearbox. He's not running rack and pinion. But if for some reason running the Hydro boost that he's operating the power steering off, if he feels that power steering is too sensitive or maybe not sensitive enough, he can just reach back at the back of the pump, have that adjustment. If you wanted that adjustment, you had to mount that in line. That meant you're taking your pressure line to a hydraulic shop, getting it cut, getting it crimped, because you're not able to do that, in your own garage. And then mount that valve on the side of the frame rail, which some guys don't have the room for. We're always fighting. We're always trying to put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, and that's really what we're doing. Especially when it comes to
it's clean looking too.
Yeah, and
I like about it.
So it's simple. It's a $1 item. It's not safe for everybody, but it's something that it's going to maybe help with plumbing, but also give you that adjustment to be able to dial it in once you've got that car on the road and put some miles on it. So something as small as that item that people might not know that's out there, that may be still doing it. It was the way it'd been the last 20 years. And again, it kind of goes back to the amount of product that's available now to this industry is absolutely insane. Being able to build a 47 to 72 Chevrolet truck and nothing be from that year. I mean, all new metal, all new chassis. If the money is no object, you can build a brand new truck from the ground up and nothing be. It all be from 2025. That was not the case 17 years ago. So we're pretty happy with, we try to stick with as many American manufacturers as we can. Of course, you can't avoid getting some pulleys or some valve covers from China. I mean, it's inevitable. But when it comes to the important parts, steering, suspension, brakes, wiring, I want to see American quality products on there. We don't want to see some guy's truck murdered down because he used a $100 eBay wire harness, on his $60,000 ride. I watch a lot of guys put $20,000 in a paint job, and then they spend $2 on a steering column that's going to possibly fall apart. I'm like, man, that's
you don't need real steering.
We don't need steering. Yeah, we got that this now.
So this is what what excites me about your story and what you're doing, the press that you are offering. And it's not just we're a retailer for so and so and so and so,
sure,
whatever. And you were talking about the mom and pop shops and that they're kind of going to the wayside because of the internet or whatever.
Oh yeah,
but here you are with this product right here, with this adjustable valve. This is something that you guys have designed. So, there's not just a passion for making money off of somebody by selling, being the man in the middle. You're also developing something. Yeah. And obviously this is something that is, has a fantastic use.
Sure.
to it.
I'm surprised you haven't tried to talk him out of that one for your own. To be honest,
So I got a long way to go with my Hydro Beast. So, but I'm just the stuff that you're offering, the ability to get a hold of, if I dial up the shop over there, I
Sure. Yep.
every time everybody help, and it's so easy to do that. It's as well. I mean, I understand you can get online and order stuff,
Sure,
2 a.m. or whatever.
But a lot of I look at our shop. People talk about where we're located, and I see guys that will drive. At guys just the other day drive 3.5 hours out of Kentucky to see us. We are a destination shop. I tell people, guys that are into collecting guns, they're going to go to that shop as a destination location to get that deal or go look at that gun. They're not going to go to Dick's Sporting Goods. They're going to make that drive. And that's kind of what I result. Kind of way I explain ourselves is you don't know where the customer's coming from. You don't know how far they're driving. So when they do show up, being as welcoming as you possibly can, when they get there, and walking them through and just really just talking to guys, just talking about their project and knocking on some ideas. I've never been the type of guy to cold call customers to do sales. I don't believe in it. I don't believe, hey, how are you doing? I'm just throwing you $8. I don't do that. If you need something, you're going to call me. I'm not going to call and bug you. I hate people that call and pressure sales, or every now and then I got some shops that I'll call and let them know about a new product. And kind of speaking on that, of other shops we were talking earlier before we on here on the episode was that we do have builder discounts. I have shops that are building cars for customers. Our discounts start out at 10%, and depending on the product line, we could offer. Now we can't advertise due to restrictions we have with our manufacturers, but I can. If we got a guy who's going to build 3 or 4 trucks a year, sure. If I was going to charge you full retail price on something, let's say I said Dakota gauges, you might as well call Dakota and buy it direct.
Sure.
You got to have your customer an incentive to come buy from you. Customer service is one. But giving them a little bit of a deal,
right,
makes them feel
special,
right?
Makes them
What I mean? I mean, nobody wants to come in and pay retail price that's manufactured side, So making them feel like they're getting a deal, that they're appreciated, and also at the shop yourself, if you gives the opportunity for them to be able to make money on their parts, any autumn. Pet Boys, they're making money on that part they're putting on your car. Plus their labor.
Well, I mean, it's not a charity. It's a
right.
business.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there are some build shops out there, they strictly just work off their labor, and they allow their customers to go out here and shop for the parts and bring parts in. We do that. We have builders that will call us and say, hey, my customer's going to call on you to order such and such. And we'll deal directly with the customer if that's what the builder prefers. But again, the people in my 7 years, as you can tell, I like talking to people. I've never met a stranger. I never have. I think the industry in general is just like last year at the Illinois truck show, walking around my kids to present our baseball bat award. That's awesome, in my opinion. I know
Illinois truck show. You meant Southern Illinois truck show then. Like that one was Illinois truck show.
The gay guy with the beard, he puts hard. He wears really tight cut off denim shorts and it's real high.
That must be special for you.
You gotta watch out that one thing hangs out that one leg there. You gotta be careful. But no, just walking around and seeing that it's a family-oriented industry.
I mean, it was. You started talking about
I talked about it in shorts over here. Yeah. I just like when I go to a car show, the guys' beers, the alcohol's covered. It's not like going to a motorcycle event where the women have their clothes off and I got to worry about my 5-year-old and 4-year-old daughter seeing something out in a parking lot that's not they don't need to be around.
Yeah.
You know, the industry has always been a family oriented industry. And for me growing up, I mean, this is something that, you know, Dad was, you know, doing street rides when I was a kid. And when we would go to an event, then, you know, Dad could just let me loose and I'd go roam the whole car show and never have to worry about, you know, somebody kidnapping me or seeing someone take her clothes off. Or
He didn't take the Street Machine Nationals, did he?
Street Machine was a whole different story. That was
I remember when I was a kid, get loose, and you want to talk about exposure.
you got to hold your education. Yeah. Oh yeah. And again, you know, even with Street Machine Nationals that they finally came back again, that whole new group that puts that on is a family oriented group.
Sure.
You know, hot as hell. Sometimes I want to take my shirt off when out there because it's so damn high. But
You know, I heard that they moved the dates on it. It's like literally May this year. So
well, you wouldn't have to bust out those cut off denim shorts then.
I might have to wear the rest of the pantlet. Man, that'll. So, you know, here's something that I don't know how you guys do is, you know, we go to a lot of shows, all of us do, but you guys are at a ton of shows and you're set up and it's like every weekend the whole rig, motor coach and everything and set up, you know, whether it is you know, at Frog Follies, you've got, of course, that's close to you. You probably have to set up, yes, or Scooter Nationals.
Yeah, right. So
National Ride Nationals.
More high school scooters. They're all right. Yeah.
So what is your favorite show to go?
My absolute
It's a Southern
my absolute favorite show, and if anybody who gets to do it, is Cruising the Coast.
Oh yeah,
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah, it is.
If I didn't have to work there, I tell you, I'd be there in a 59, 60 Cadillac with a whole trunk iced down full of beer, 6 buddies cruising all week, reaching through the truck, reaching the back shorts from Rotary. Yeah, big Cuban under my arm over here. Yeah. Oh, it just the atmosphere. Most shows nowadays at 6 o'clock, they roll the sidewalks up. There's nothing going on. Everybody goes back to the hotel. They're tired. There's nothing to do at night. You know, I want to go to a show where there is a nightlife. I want to be burned out. So I want to see them cruising.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see the kids, you know, hanging out the truck beds while we're driving. You know, that's what I want to see. And Cruise Coast is an amazing event. That you can go to it and don't even register to be the show. There's a lot of cars out there that don't even register, but it's just an amazing atmosphere. And again, I think and the atmosphere of an event is a huge part of that event. Having that electric atmosphere around you. Yeah. You can have a killer show, but if it's in the wrong area, it's just like it kills it, you know. But
well, to that end, that's something that at our show last year, you know, Brett worked with the city of Marion to put that cruise in after, right after our show was done. And I think had the weather not gotten us, I think that would have been successful. We had fun anyway, but it's exactly as you say. One of the things that with the Southern Showdown, we're really happy to partner with the city of Marion because they've done such a great job of making whatever we need available to make it successful.
Sure. Yeah. I thought the Mountain Dew Park was, you know, from what I had seen was a great location for you guys. It has restaurants. It has hotels nearby that where, you know, if a kid or a mom got tired, they could walk to their hotel room and crash out for a little bit and come back. You know, I didn't have to, you know, load everything up because somebody was getting tired.
Oh yeah.
But we have grown to the point where, you know, years ago, it was nothing for us to go do a 1 or 2 day show at a fairgrounds. A lot of smaller shows died off. Our shows are now, we're down to, since COVID, we're doing about 12 shows a year. They are the bigger events, you know. It's the only reason we don't bring our full get up when we come to your all show is because it is a 1 day. It takes a whole day just to set it all out, you know. So when we go to an event, it needs to be at least a 2 or 3 day event just because the time it takes to put it all out and put it all back up.
Well, maybe that's what needs to happen.
Well, you know,
I'd be all about it. It all show to the 3 day event. I mean, I'd have the full spread there, you know. But again, and I think Brett understands that. It's just that, you know, the show has got to be a certain length for us to be able to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
get it.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I understand that.
Yeah, decent.
What we have going on with how we do our show, and I think maybe it's my ADHD kicking in or something like that. So we do like the open house at level 7, and then we do the pre-party at the 618 Tap House, and a band there, and we do the show on Saturday.
Sure.
And then we do the cruise in up on the Tower Square that night. It's like one thing and another, and then another, and then it's like I don't know how everybody else's mind works or something like that, but my attention can be right here. And then I got to go and be doing something else. I mean, I drive my wife crazy with it all the time.
Short drive.
Well, used to those were a Friday, Saturday, then Sunday. Us vendors just kind of sit around looking at each other because everybody had already laid it off.
Yeah.
In the last 4 or 5 years, I look at shows, even talk about Cruising the Coast or our Tri 5 Nationals. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show. So week there is setting up on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday is when we're helping our customers. Saturday night, we can tear down and be home Sunday morning and still have Sunday to wash our laundry and kind of reset ourselves or go back to the office on Monday.
Yeah.
I think that's a great lineup when guys do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show because it gives everybody the opportunity on Sunday to, just like at your show, be able to go home.
Well, and we're Labor Day weekend, so
you get an extra day.
so we got an extra day. We can have just like, in 2024, we get to going back through registrations and things and looking at it. And we had guys in 25 states,
right,
at the show
that'll make that drive because then maybe out Sunday to travel.
A lot of guys don't have that. A lot of guys that if we change the date or something like that, that makes that impossible because they've got one day down day or rest day or whatever.
You have to work Tuesday.
Yeah.
Asked by me by the Good Guys Association a few weeks ago. We always do the Columbus Good Guys in Ohio the week after 4th of July. Well, Des Moines is a huge event of theirs in Des Moines, Iowa, but it's the weekend of 4th of July. Now, I understand that there are hot rodders out there that they go to that show with their family. They have a great firework display. That's how they spend their vacation. Now that I have kids of my own, I want to be at my own house in front of the grill, laid back,
that time.
enjoying that time with my family. I don't want to be at that show. You know what I mean? Now, again, 10 years ago, heck yeah, sign me up. Let's go. I have nothing tying me down a house. But, I'm not going to sacrifice losing that time with the kids to go be in Des Moines, Iowa while everybody else is home, kick back, So there's unfortunately, we always call car shows on our end, we call them an unnecessary evil, but you also start become what we call chrome-plated carnies. You start to feel like this fancy carny going from show to show to show, selling people parts or talking about parts. And, it's like, man, we just feel like one of those people putting together one of those carnival rides. So,
yeah, but that's the part of the whole.
Oh yeah, it's part. You got to be out there. I've had a lot of good mentors over the years that when I first got in this, I thought I knew everything. I didn't know shit. I did not know a damn thing looking back. But had a lot of good mentors in the industry that noticed I was kind of the young guy, starting out. They weren't, so they were really kind of giving me some guidance on, some ideas, and it was a lot of help. It was some things I took to heart. Some things were like, yeah, okay, I'll kind of keep that in mind. But it's always good to have the generation ahead of me giving me some ideas of what worked for them or maybe what didn't work for them. And again, I can't say enough again about the industry as an entirety. I don't care if you're in the pre-48 rods or you're strictly a Chevy truck guy or a Ford Mustang guy. I know. I said that. That was I know that word again. But again, we all like cars. We're all there. The love and passion of a car in general. I don't, again, even at 37, 38 years old, I don't understand the whole, Japanese car scene. It's big in our area, especially for the younger guys. I don't understand, B2 motors and AZ30 or whatever it is, in their Mazda. I don't understand,
Clear
I,
and that's okay.
yeah, I'm okay. I'm a 300 plus back. I'm not going to fit very comfortably in the front of your RX-7.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, is that, yeah. Well, you're used to getting smuggled from Cuba, so we're
In the back.
The back of a rotary powered Ford Creek.
So he's been again behind the panel. I know.
Yes. If you need somebody to load your house up, I'm moving fall down. The whole house
You're all in the clear until, like I said earlier, you get in that 2-person tent in Guantanamo. We were full on.
Talk about how you got into this industry. You said that other people, some of the people that were in the industry, brought you along as you were here. What brought you into this? Did you wake up one day and say, "You know what I want to do"?
Well, it was actually funny. Clearly, Dad had a influence. I was probably 6 years old. Girl brought home a 35 Ford pickup truck. Dad was like getting ready to buy this truck, but alcohol was threatening to strike. He said, "Babe, I got a hold off." We spent that fall, me and my mom and my dad, all three rode in a 35 Ford half-ton truck from Southern Indiana all the way to Nashville, Tennessee for the Halloween rod run. And down there, while we were down there, Dad picked up a 46 Ford 2-door sedan. And I remember when he bought the car, he brought me over. He's like, "Hey, get back seat." He's like, "What do you think?" Man, that thing's like a couch. I figure I've been used to riding and, between mom and dad, a truck like this all year. And then he gives a backseat 46 sedan where, you could play jump rope in. Dad was in that time. We had a few beagle dogs. We were doing some rabbit hunting. And he asked me one year, I think it was the next year, 97, 98. He's like, "So, what are we going to do? We can afford to do rabbit dog hunting, or we can afford to do street rods. We can't do both. What do you do?" Well, as a fat kid, I thought, well, I don't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go sit out in the cold against a tree on the hopes that we're going to kill something. Clearly, the hot rod garage is 20 feet from the kitchen. That's a plus, right? Probably that's the mentality of an 8-year-old.
That's the mentality of me.
Right. So
What does that say?
He was building a 23 T bucket in the middle of this. I'm convinced it would be my first high school car.
Oh.
He said there was no way he was going to put a 16-year-old kid in a 23 T bucket, pretty much a full-wheel motorcycle. So he had a 66 2-door hardtop Impala that he quit driving in 91. He used to take me to preschool. I was embarrassed of this car. I called it the shabby Chevy. I got to the point where when he dropped me at preschool, he would come midnight shift from Alcoa. This Impala had a welly blanket thrown over the front seat. I mean, clearly a scene from Uncle Buck. You know what I mean? And I was embarrassed. What preschool kid is embarrassed being dropped off in this, olive green Impala? And when he told me about it
right now, and unbeknownst to you, you were the coolest kid there.
So in my 7th and 8th grade year, I'm hounding him about my first high school car. And he says, "Well, either you can get a job and go buy you one of these, John Neons that all kids were driving at that time." He says, "Or you can," he says, "if you start working on that pallet now, by the time you get to your sophomore year, you might have something to drive," And me and some buddies, we dug it out of the barn. We started tearing into it and made a really nice car out of it. Still have the car, which is going through its second rendition now. Frame off, it's black as black can be. It's kind of got to one of those builds where it's surpassed what I want it to be. I don't know how fun it's going to be to take this car to cars because it's reached that extent. And hopefully one of my kids will be into it. But that turned in when I was in high school, we actually were almost ready to buy A Plus Rod Kustom from Bill and his wife, and wife passed away. And all we said in the agreement was, we're going to back off for now, so you can kind of get your, life kind of back order. She always did all the book work. He was the counter guy, so he was pretty lost at that point. But the opportunity, it was ready to ever sell again, we would get first opportunity. So I went on to college for tool and die. I got really interested in that in high school. Went to Vincennes University. I was home from college during the winter, ran into Bill, and Bill just mentioned that he's interested in selling now.
Is Bill a family friend?
Bill was just the local hot shop owner. It's where me and I went and bought our hot rod parts for years, and super nice guy. And like I said, we were interested in while I was in high school. Then after college, or in the middle of all that, he decided he was to sell. With the agreement, he would stay on for 2 years with us, kind of traveled with us, and making that bridge the gap from new owner to old owner with an existing customer base. And I remember walking out. It was our first initial takeover date was June 1st, 2007, not knowing that the housing market was going to crash in 6 months. Yeah, the hell of a time to buy, to more, So here I am. I've mortgaged my parents' house for $250,000. I remember walking out of the bank. Dad's still working full time at Alcoa, 60 hours a week. Mom's still working full time. They're not able to be there till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon to help out. Me and my good friend Mike, we're doing everything we could. Heck, Mike worked for free for the first 2 years. He's still with us. Great.
You started paying him yet?
Mike has been loyal to a fault. Good friend. But no, I just I look back, and it's went so fast. It's just
Absolutely.
and I think we were survived first 5 years. I really did it, man. It was. I have seen that place go to, man, how are we going to make, how are we going to make this next week payment? And I'm not exaggerating. Every time, I don't know if it's luck, if it's fate, whatever you believe in, always at the last minute, there was a customer that came in the door with this big grocery list, and it just kept us going.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've literally had been to the point where one customer's purchase order kept us open.
Yeah.
I mean, and the people, as all honesty as it looks, when people walk through these shows and look at us vendors and look at things, and they've been they must have millions. Must be nice. I'll tell you for a fact, when I walked out of that bank, we pulled that money. Dad put his arm around me. He said, "I want you to understand." He said, "If you fuck this up, we will not have a place to live." At 20 years old, that when your parents tell you that they will lose their entire house if you screw this up while they're at work, it becomes a real thing.
Well, I'm thinking about my own children. I love them, but I don't know that I had that much faith. I think we're all gonna be homeless if you fuck big gun.
And I mean that is that the story is freaking amazing, and people listening and or watching whatever, if you can't grasp that and be compassionate towards folks that are running businesses like this,
sure.
not just Andy.
No,
there's a ton of these that make the world go round, and I'm just talking about this industry in general.
Oh yeah,
it's the and the labor that goes into it, and the unbelievable hours that are put into the days.
Oh yeah,
and all this. I mean, I'm blessed in the fact that with my work, I don't have to put the hours in like someone who runs their own business does, and I don't even know how I could do it or if I could do it, but to listen to your story and how you're doing it, and then to know, to be friends with Barry and know the hours that he's
seen on social media. He just sits down.
It's a passion. You just like what you do. You know, I'm sure there's days you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
I tell people this: I have never woke up and said, "Man, I got to go to work today." I've never said that.
And I don't watch the clock. No, watching the clock, you're doing the wrong fuck on that.
But I know a lot of folks listen, have their own business. You guys do, and I would hate. I don't even want to throw this bit out here, but it rolled into my head. I was like, I know that you don't sit down and be like, how many hours did I work this week? And where am I putting myself an hour and all stuff? Because you probably get sick.
You know when I know it's quitting time is because she calls. Are you fucking coming home? Or what are you doing? What are we gonna do for dinner? Are you thinking about that? I'm like, I didn't even know what time it was. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you're not getting passionate or emotional about what you're talking about or what you're doing in a life, to me, I can tell they're there for the wrong reasons. These guys that are in business because they have this facade in their head that they're going to make $1 million every year. That's the wrong thing. I never wanted to go in business and start this endeavor with my family on the idea of I'm going to get rich overnight.
Yeah.
It was something that we can call our own and that we all get to enjoy. Don't get me wrong. There are some knockdown, drag out disagreements when it comes to me, mom, and dad sometimes, but, again, with it not being there, that forced me into learning, accounting, our QuickBooks, having a grasp on how much money is there at one time, what our budgets are. We had a family friend of ours that had an existing business. They decided to retire. They handed it over to their son. Their son, for the last 20 years, was strictly a mechanic in the shop. Didn't last 2 years because he was never taught the backside of the business. He had no idea what the money looked like.
Yeah.
They even admitted, after the fact was kind of our fault. We kind of, their mom always did that, and this was his position as the kid to be in the back.
Yeah.
He
needed to hire a fucking accountant. What he needed.
This is that, a friend of ours who's passed away now went to go purchase a business that he worked at, and come to find out the money was what he had sold, right?
Right. So the books weren't
what they needed to see. So he ended up not going through with that. But it's the same kind of thing. At least he had business acumen to understand, maybe there's something I don't want to get into, rather than taking on, somebody else's problem.
We've had people call, hey, we'll do your payroll. I don't need to pay someone to do my payroll. We got 4 employees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't need to have that extra expenditure. Yes, I have an account that does the end of the year wrap up. I have made myself learn the accounting end of it. Sit down and learn this so you don't have to call your accountant every month to do the end of the month stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've become friends with a guy that is an accountant through this truck stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, as you say this, how many people have different jobs, have different skill sets that they can bring to this. And it's interesting to me that you've learned, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've had the opportunity to get better and better at things, save yourself money, make it successful. It's got my brain thinking about all the people that I've met that do different things, right, throughout this hobby. It's just
watching, Dad was the youngest journeyman to go through Alcoa at that time. And when me and Mike started, he pretty much took Mike under his wing, teaching him everything he knew about rewiring a car. When first started, he thought the electricity in a car would shock you. That's where we were. That's where we started, right? He had now, in 5 years ago, surpassed my father in every aspect of wiring.
Yeah.
My dad also says that's the way it's supposed to be. A good teacher, the student should surpass the teacher if the teacher's a good teacher.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at that. There are things that, Dad has just been completely, just surpassed him. It's just like paint and body work. I mean, when I was a kid, it was nothing for Dad to do paint and body work. Now that industry has exploded. I mean, it has surpassed it. Unless you're doing that every day.
And everybody, it's way more picky now. When your dad was doing, if it was It was awesome. Well,
Yeah.
now it's like everybody picks it to death.
Right.
The lines.
I mean, I mean, Dad started. They bought our first house. It was 800. I don't think it was even 800 square feet. Small house. He bought that. He bought like 20 wreck vets, and he made and when he brought them all home, my grandpa was like, I see like 15 good ones, that you can make out of 20.
Yeah.
No, there's a good 18 out there. Those 20 wreck Chevettes bought mom and dad's first little house.
Redoing them.
Yeah, just you took all these cars and took doors off this, and like you said, when you painted those cars, as long as it was somewhat shiny,
It looked good.
yeah. Buddy, if you want to find a professional painter, find a customer and start painting this car. Then all of a sudden, he will find a buddy who knows all paint and body work.
Yeah.
It's like he brings his buddy over. Well, my buddy says, well, why? If your buddy said, why didn't you hire your buddy? So we always like to have a fun. Guys in this industry, we watch them all the time, especially in our booth. They will ask us about a product, we'll guide them to the product, and then they'll have their buddy next to them go, hey, Brett, what do you think?
Right.
They have to have that buddy approval. We all have that buddy approval.
Favorite is when people know more about your shit than you do.
This is sure.
This is not. No.
Well, it happened at the house, didn't it? My truck's sitting out in the driveway, and we were all out. We were outside. We're getting ready to go somewhere, I think. And some guy rolls up and rolls down as he's passing by. He goes, "Is the 91?" He goes, "No, it didn't." And I said, "Okay, just turn around." But the conversation's fucking done. You already know. I mean, obviously, you know more than I do. So why the hell did you ask me?
This is true. We joke in the booth kind of amongst yourselves. I'm like, I wonder if they go home and he asks his buddy like how to sleep with his wife. I never consulted with my buddy on how to do that. No,
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
More importantly, has your wife?
I don't know. Well, we got rid of her a couple years ago. So
Never seen who was getting into it.
Staring away from it. We're trashing this motherfucker.
Find the nearest mountain. Let's point it to it. It's Ron Light. Ron Light says we're guaranteed to beat the paramedics there by half an hour.
So listen, I love your story and how it's went with your show and with your shop and the products that you guys offer and you brought with you today. You brought a column from CPP, correct?
Sure. Yep.
So you want to give us a little bit of scoop on what this is?
Yeah, it's like it's in a gun base. I know, and it's probably hard to see.
It's actually kind of cool, though.
Right. A lot of people think we're carrying around AK-47s or something when we go to shows. But CPP has came out with
hold on, backing up. What is CPP?
Classic Performance Products.
Yep.
And they have came out with a direct fit column for the 60 up to 72 trucks, whether it be an automatic on the column or automatic on the floor. What's nice about their column, what I like is they give you everything you need to put it in. You got a new floor seal, you got a dash seal. The indicator comes with a 3-speed or overdrive lens, so that takes care of all GM transmissions. The indicator lens is lit up, illuminated off the headlight switch, so now you actually see what gear you're in at night going home down that dark country road. They even have the wiring pigtail. It's flat on the column for the new style. If you've rewired a car, say with an American wire harness, or if you haven't rewired, they give you the 6-inch adapter plug that goes from flat back to the crescent moon, back to the original GM plug. Giving you 8 positions of tilt, because big guys like me with a factory wheel and a 70 C10 is not gonna.
No, it's not.
We got. Is this is this a shortened column as
well?
well?
No, this column comes for the factory length is a 35-inch column for gearbox guy. We offer a shortened length, anywhere from 31 down to 28 for the guys that are running, say, like a pre-built or road stock chassis back and pinion, because those guys, you got to get that U-joint turning right out the firewall to get around the control arm and get on through a motor to get to that rack and pinion. So that, now you can take the stock 35-inch length of being on a gearbox truck that has a collapsible shaft, should have a rag joint and a U-joint that has a collapsible shaft in the middle. You can cheat this by pushing this column all the way to the dash, up to the cone, which is but you got to be careful doing that with the original diameter wheel that the top of the steering wheel would hit the dash in full, with it tilted full up. But you do have a lot of adjustment in this. But for something that a guy can literally pick up a carrying case, it's got everything in it. Besides the only else you would need if it was a column shift column would be the adjustable linkage that goes from the column down to the transmission, which we also have to as well. That's also a product that's available. But I look at components. I don't care if you paint your car with a roller or Earl Shive or whatever you do. I look at steering, suspension, and brakes. We want to be able to gear it safe, stop it safely. If you have a problem, if you're not running 80 mile an hour out here on the interstate out here, you're going to get rammed by these 18-wheelers. I mean, you've got to keep up with traffic when you're out here going across country or across multiple states to go to a show. And I see that. And again, talking to the customer, what do you expect this vehicle to do? What's the plan? Are we planning on going drag strip on weekends, or is this something you're going to load the family in and go across country, across a couple states for a weekend to go to an event? Because we all know it's really hard to have your drag car and your daily cruising car as the same vehicle. You can't have every aspect of every car in one vehicle. It'd be really, really, really hard and kind of impractical.
Well, what happens in that, I think, is that you end up with a vehicle that doesn't do any of them really well, right? You try to have something that's daily rideable, and you try to have something that's
what ultimately ends up, you end up seeing it gets done, and then it ends up they buy a $70,000, $80,000 dually with a $20,000 trailer, and that's where they're going to go to the show. So it sees 100 miles around the fairgrounds or maybe around that city that the show's in for a weekend. But that's about as much as, we look at the products that we're selling. I gear it toward how I grew up in the industry, what we did with our cars. It was nothing for us to load up as a family in a hot rod and, go to Tennessee or, go to Missouri or Illinois for an event and spend the weekend. And yeah, Dad kept a tool bag in the trunk. We kept an extra star. We kept extra parts. I mean, you came prepared. I mean,
let's go back to your column here.
Yeah.
So everybody's gearing towards the 6 and 8 speed stuff. So what I would like to see out of this column is with the limiter and up down shift.
That's one.
Everybody's up down looks like shit. You know what I mean? Everybody says.
There's just
so if you could take that GM style lever and wire in up down shift on the like GM does on trucks, that's where they need to be.
Well, we've got in a column shift aspect. You're correct. There's just not enough throw.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to go down, but if we could do it in the wiring where we could do up down shift,
right? Like a tap. So low car has.
I mean, it's in their shifter and it sucks.
Low cars did that sport shifter.
Yeah.
Where a lot of your automatic 6 and 8 speeds now is you just pull down into drive.
Yeah.
And then you got to pull it over, and then you got that paddle up and down.
I think it'd be cool in the dog.
Oh, it would be. It would
be a cool.
I don't know how that would. Again, is there enough room in the column? In a 2-inch diameter too. But
I think could make it happen.
You think so?
Yeah.
We're going back to that 5-pounder shit in the 5-pound sack kind of thing.
Yeah, whatever works. It is interesting.
But if someone did that, it's a settler. You know what I mean? Because I have, and we ain't did a lot of them, but I have people call me, what am I to do with this? Like, put 3-speed back in it. You know what I mean?
It was the same thing with like the Holley Terminator X systems that guys are using for their engine and transmission control. They don't go past a 4-speed overdrive. If you're running an LS with automatic 6-speed, the Terminator X Max, they do not have a provision for.
They got it now.
Oh, they have it now?
Yeah, Zooey was the first person to do it.
Because
what happened is we did it in Bill's truck.
Okay.
Well, we put a small pulley in it. All it knows, because the ECU's in the tranny.
Sure.
So all it knows to do is yank all the power out.
Right.
So you wheel on this thing, it's got big power, and it don't know what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it pulls all the power out, all the timing out, and then it lay over, and then it shifts. You know, so they've got it close, but not figured out.
Right.
You know,
And that's the thing too that we were kind of talking just since Christmas time. After this, and I don't, get into politics, but we buy fiberglass armrests from a company called Smart Parts out of Ontario, Alberta, Canada. We just placed a new stocking order the other day, and they emailed back, hey, things are going up. There's tariffs now.
yeah.
The parts industry is your stuff that's coming in from overseas.
Not going to be affordable.
There's not going to be. It's going to really put that price back up, and it's going to have a lot smaller gap from billet specialties. Say,
Bill's Chinese pulley,
right? Same pulley doing the same thing behind the cost. The tariff getting that in. I really think that people are going to start noticing. Excuse me.
You probably should just buy the bill especially anyway.
Right.
Well, the good thing about this is we will find out, won't we?
Right.
Right. This is a cool question. We will know.
You can get my Kool-Aid.
That what that we're calling that now?
That's a diet that he's on.
What it is?
Kirshner diet. Yeah, Bert. Quite. Yeah, you got to start off with at least a gallon of grape Kool-Aid every morning. Gets you going.
Yeah, I like sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So, do you have any? Is there any projects of your own?
Well, I got the word again. We're doing that second rendition of my Impala.
Yeah.
You do dry rain on it.
It's an LS, of course, LS platform. My idea, of course, it was a matching number 283. It used to be a powered car. I want the engine to resemble that classic 327 look.
Yeah.
Car, you're going to go back on chassis. We're getting ready to put the new Ritec coilover suspension on it before we put the body back on the frame. Of course, I got 7010 that I've been driving for the last 6 or 7 years. But we have a hot rod shop. It's just like like a plumber. They always talk about a plumber's had the leak, and everybody's like, "Well, how's your stuff coming?" Well, I don't know. We're always busy working on everybody else's stuff. Which that's how we make our living, of course. But we always. Dad has really since he's retired and been at the shop time now the last 7 years. We try to make him go work on his own stuff. He's got a couple older street rods that he's wanting kind of a checklist of things he wants to get done before while he still can.
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of see him be able to tinker on his own stuff, but still be present in our environment, our daily environment. But he definitely doesn't want to be on the phones. He likes talking to people, but he's
the show's not on the over phone
because he knows people in their face. Yeah. But he's not the guy that's really want to sit in a chair and answer phones. He's got to be like an Energizer bunny. He's got to be constantly on the move.
So,
because I don't want to talk to people on the phone either.
Right, you never fucking do. I think I got one phone call from you ever.
I know when I'm reading out the barrier. They were like, "This is an awful time to call him." He's working. His phone's.
Well, it sounds like
away from him.
Well, some should call his wife. She has a pretty way of getting a hold of him. It sounds like so. Yeah, just call her. She'll get on it. She'll get on this.
Well, we had customers that they'll call. If I'm talking time, I won't answer. Yeah. Well, they'll call her. Can you have him call me? And I'm like, I'm still not going to call you until I'm done clocking time. Just how it is.
So Andy, where's your stop? Where's what's the next show you guys are doing?
We always do a swap meet. Of course, we got coming up in March, the Cayenne swap meet over at the little expo center. That's the 8th and 9th of March. That's one of the only, in my opinion, good indoor swap meets that's going on when it's crappy outside. Yeah. Our show season now really doesn't start until July. Good Guys Columbus is our show of the season. But then it's pretty wide. It's pretty full throttle until I'd say right the third week of October. We're doing 3 shows in August. We're doing 4 shows in September. 3 in October. It's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But it's all I would say again, Biloxi, Mississippi, as far south as we go. We used to do Texas Good Guys and stuff like that. But due to their dates and stuff, we used to be able to go from Indiana, go hit the Texas Good Guys show, and then turn around and go hit Biloxi, Mississippi the next week, and then come home. So we could leave home and do, hit 2 events before we headed back.
Sure.
But people's dates changed, venues changed, due to COVID, and the whole deal. And I don't like to use that for an excuse because I'm not that guy, but it did affect. It changed. But what I'm seeing is the Good Guys events and the NSRA events, that these are businesses. These are businesses that are doing this to be profitable. They have paid employees. People are gravitating more and more to shows like yourself.
Sure.
Because you're not doing it to get rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope not. Failing the fuck out of that.
Right. There's a lot of volunteers that are unpaid.
Everyone.
And I look at that, and so just like the Tri-5 Nationals or any of the C10 Nationals, now Triple Crown, going since the first year of that. If you want to see something, that is an amazing event. I mean, that is, if you want to see the latest and greatest of anything. And then what's cool about now, what we're noticing, when we go to Triple Crown, as a vendor, we have a hospitality tent for just us. They feed us every day. We don't have time to go wait in a food line because we got to be back in the booth. There's only 2 guys in a booth. You don't have time to go take lunch. But there are a lot of these events now, they are really paying, catering to the vendors, where before you just paid your spot, you showed up, here's your spot, okay, you didn't see anybody. It's not even anything.
Barry does. Bill may bring you a bratwurst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's even flow to all of that. I mean, obviously when you go, your purpose there is customer service and working.
Oh yeah.
In order to do so.
Yep.
And so when, when you're,
I said that. I meant Jack. Sorry. I don't know why the fuck I said that.
When you're doing this, obviously it's a business thing, and there's expense to it, sure, to be said, and everything. And so when you're looking at some of these bigger shows, and it's no gig, any of them, I get it. It's a business, but your expense, to be a vendor, and I don't throw Triple Crown under the bus or anything like that, because it is a fantastic show, and I love what they're doing, and I understand they've got bills to pay and everything else. Sure. But, it's a significant expense to be involved with that. And then you used to have to start weighing it out. Is it with the network? Is it worth the expense for the networking that I'm getting out of it and all that? And like I were talking about earlier, the necessary or unnecessary evils of how that goes. And that's what we're doing with the show that we have going on. And, we're year 4, and I still feel like it's infant. We put a lot of work into it, and then we rely on those that take a chance on us and have faith in us and want to see growth with it. But our cost for us putting it on, we relate that directly to those that are involved with us. So It's not like, just like you said, we're not getting rich off of it. Well, one of the things is that no one ought to, right. Number one, and 2, I don't care to. I've got a job that
right.
That pays my bills. I do this because I love doing it. I enjoy it.
Yep.
And so, we try to keep our expenses low. Mm-hmm. So it costs less for you to be involved. Yep. Which is what helps us pay the bills. But, our venue costs are maybe less than others. And we make it where being a participant at our show, feel like we're growing the show. It's bigger. It's take and hold and everything. And we charge $20 to be a participant. I mean, I've seen local shows shows.
So
It's more money than that.
we would never be. We would, when I go to to a national event, you're spending anywhere between $2,000 just for your space, 90-foot by 30-foot space, right? And you're not. That doesn't get you a sponsorship. They don't put your name. They put your name on a vendor map, but you're not on a banner. You're not on a And you are right. A show like what you guys are doing, I spend a quarter of that, and I'm getting more advertisement out of it because it's a brand recognition.
And your vendor spot comes with it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now I will.
We
Now
gotta make it the value. For
well, I will tell you, I have been to shows, and just been we did okay, but then you come home, and 2 weeks later,
Phone's ringing good. Yeah.
yeah, so you don't know what that show is going to produce afterwards.
Yeah.
But I was always told, again, going back to my mentor, if you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
Yeah, they rally.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, if they're used to seeing you in the same spot at that show every year, and for some reason you don't, what's the first thing? Those guys must have went out of business. They walk past your spot. We've all done it. We've all been accustomed to that vendor being in this one location, same spot, but not there. And you tell anybody, man, I bet they went out of business.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not the case, But that rumor, that mindset, again, you have to be in front of your customer, and doing things like we're doing here. This is the new.
Most definitely.
This is the. I don't care. Again, been around just bullshitting. Everybody is watching videos.
Yeah,
We all catch yourself at night going down the YouTube, TikTok rabbit hole. I've learned a lot of things from. There's the things I've watched.
Not all good things, but there's a lot of information out there.
Yeah, correct.
And you never know when just one person sees they're going to be a new customer. I mean, that is
Now, granted, I'm not gonna watch YouTube on how to roof my house, and the next we're gonna roof a house. I'm still gonna call a roofer. I'm gonna call the guy to roof my house. I'm not gonna be a YouTube certified plumber. I'm not. I get that you can get the idea to get you fixed until the guy can get there. But yeah, just because I watch a YouTube video, I'm not going to be roof on a 10-12 pitch house. Sorry,
let's do it. I think we could. I think we could go up.
You don't need to be on any roof. Yeah,
back to fucking salt.
They're good roofer, big ogre Cuban.
What the actual?
He's the Shrek Cuban.
Dude, from the top of the roof to the bottom, and
if you see this come out, I bet you
just wait.
Do you eat all spicy food?
Wait,
I don't think you eat all
fucking way.
Short dick white boy. I know where I'm at.
That's why he likes. That's why Simpson
likes to stand. That's why I gotta go to work every day.
Rings because he's Cuban.
Well, so that's what I was telling. That's what my dad told me a long time ago. I got to go to work every day because I'm just a short dick white.
This is a whole prerequisite into something this is going to develop. But unfortunately, an
hour ago he told me he's British. I'm like, I didn't know that. I'm thinking like a tie. I'm according to you.
So, hey, listen. So listen, Andy. I appreciate you making the trip over. And I appreciate your support of the show.
Oh yeah,
time you've taken to put into this, and the faith that you've had us as far as show is concerned.
Oh yeah,
I love the partnership that we've created with us. I appreciate the help with helping us promote the show and everything with frog follies and all that. That stuff.
Anything we can do to help you guys. Like I said, it's I never would have thought that I would have it would have made it to what it is today. Don't get me wrong, it's still a struggle. We fight. We all fight that struggle every week, and it's not what Hollywood is to look like. I'm sorry, it's not. This is the reality as true as you're gonna get.
Well,
so yeah.
Listen, man, it's been so great having you here.
Yeah,
and I want everybody to check out the shop and kind of the whole support. They're not big time, but they're a good time. So it's just check them out at aplusrodandkustom.com. Custom with a K.
Custom with a K.
Old school. Check out the shop. Check out the website. Their hours of business are up there. Phone numbers are up there, and check them out.
If you don't find what you're looking for, just call us. Just call us. I like talking to people. I'm old school. I just love talking to people. you get a lot further talking to somebody in a 20-minute conversation than them poking around the website for hours and stuff to find what they're looking for.
Yeah.
True.
So
All right.
all right, guys.
Well, man, I thank you again, and that's a wrap. Thank you so much. And
Can I go naked wrestle the big Cuban now?
so
No, you may not.
Okay.
okay, guys, we'll see you. Thanks.